Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? I hope everybody has had a great weekend. I know I have. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Peter Brown. And of course, as always, joined by my partner in crime, my Tampa travel buddy, Uncle Ed.
How's it going, guys? I hope you had a good weekend. We did. We went to Tampa, and that was a real good time.
Yeah, normally I'll start off, Ed, asking you, how your weekend was, how things are. But I know how your weekend was because I spent, 16 hours with you or something.
Yeah, man, too much
So,
time, man. But I think I kind of got through to you, Peter,
okay.
musically.
Well, let's leave that for just a minute here.
Okay.
let's say let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Welcome Kevin Gonzalez, who is in here early, which I love to see. Ricky Ricardo's in there. Esteban Mejia is in. Welcome. One World, One Goal, as always. Welcome. Miguel Angel. Who else we got in here? Jordan Manresa, King West 11. A lot of people in the chat. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah. He looks like he's an Atlanta fan.
Yeah, it does look like that. Boom. 7 o'clock, he says. Welcome, Atlanta fans. We are hoping to be, bitter rivals, right? And
Yeah.
it only becomes bitter rivals if we're good, right? Because if we're a pushover, then there's no rivalry. But we think we may have the talent to be good. But so as always, guys, this is your show. So we have a few topics we may throw out. But if you want to drive the direction of the show or want to add to those topics, please keep that chat room live. It makes it so much more fun when we have you guys to kind of bounce ideas off and discuss things with. So keep the chat room active, and let's go. The super chat is open as well if you would like to do that. It's your prerogative. Ed, 4 hours up, 4 hours back to Tampa to see Inter Miami. We had to sit through each other's kind of musical stylings, maybe. I think that's what a direction you were going down in the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, well, you guys are going to enjoy it, I think. Oh, we've got
Yeah.
video. Peter's got video about that. So you guys are going to be able to check that out. And no, I'm just, it was a fun trip.
Yeah, no, we'll have. I think I'll do the same kind of schedule I did last week. We'll have the construction video up tomorrow. I still have to edit it. I haven't done that yet. And then we'll have Wednesday, I think is what I'll put up our Tampa trip video, just like we did last week. So this week's video, we did a little bit different because I didn't feel like it didn't make sense to basically do the same video twice, right? So a little bit of different angle, a little on it, a little different focus, more of the focus on the fans than on the team in this case. Because guess what? It's preseason for them as well. So we'll put that up probably around Wednesday. But Ed, this was, we have been, some guys in here are new to South Florida, are really supporting an MLS team, right? Because there's a lot of young guys that this is their first team, right? This is their first MLS team, Miami or South Florida team. But you and I, we've been down this road before. So we
we're pros, man. We're old pros here, and yeah, we supported the Miami Fusion back in the day. And then when Miami Fusion died out, we supported all these lower league teams as well.
But
so
my question to you, Ed, is kind of like, I think I gave my perspective a little bit last week and also in the video. But what's your perspective in that? It's been so many years. It's we've been working. A lot of people don't necessarily know that Ed, I, and several other soccer fans worked a lot behind the scenes to actually try to do whatever we can as fans to make this team a reality. We emailed the hell out of Don Garber, commissioners, billionaires, all that kind of stuff. So having put in all that work, it's pretty cool to see your team now in action. And this was your first time seeing your new MLS team in live in person. How did it feel, Ed?
Wow, man. you got to see them last week, but this is my first time. Um, it wasn't the first team, but either way, it was real exciting. It's our dream finally coming true. I mean, we like I always tell everybody, look, we've got the gray hair to prove it, because we've been around waiting for such a long time for our dream to finally come true. So for me, it felt something special. I'll probably, so I'm gonna go to the LA game, so I'll probably start crying. I'll put video if that happens, so you guys could see, because it's been such a long
If
time,
you shed a
Peter.
tear, Ed, I have to see it on video.
Well, I'll record it, man, or somebody will
If
record it.
somebody
I'm
has to
sure.
poke you in the eye to get that tear, I think it has to happen.
Somebody will do it. Uh, Three Stooges type or some style or
So
something.
yeah, I mean, it was a big deal to watch this preseason game, but it's preseason. Now when you're in LA and you're seeing the real first game, and they're playing the music, the whatever music they play to march out the players. I think MLS has their own theme song. I don't remember, but we'll find out,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Because I really haven't watched that much MLS. I'm
Right.
originally from Los Angeles, so I looked at Galaxy games or whatever because they're the team that's been around the longest. But yeah, there was a time when I didn't even want to watch MLS, because that's how hurt I was. I was like, I'm never gonna watch that crap
Right.
MLS again. But we changed our minds quickly once we got that meeting with Don Garber, and he told us to look for investors and keep
Yeah.
supporting local teams, which is what we did, and we found that investor, and he found Beckham, Marcelo Claure. He
Yeah.
found Beckham, and basically the rest is history.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter, I'm so excited, man. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
that's something you said is like, sometimes you wonder what as fans can we do? We were part of a supporters club before there was ever a team, and what can we do as fans? Well, you know what we can do? We could get the commissioner it's not like we got him to come down. He was already down here for preseason, but we were able to force him to have a meeting with us. Basically to shut us up. And
That's what
in
he
that
said.
meeting, he said to us, please leave me alone. Stop emailing me. And I remember I said to him, I said, but it worked. and he
Right,
said some
right.
comment about it just it irritating him, but it worked. And so as fans,
Hmm.
you definitely have some power. Your voice, your email, your power of your keyboard. There is definitely power in that. And then of course now through YouTube and all that, we can maybe push them to do other things. Because nothing is going to be perfect, right? So we're going to see some things that we need that we're going to need to voice our opinions on and stuff like that. So and we're not shy about doing that. But it was an exciting game. There was a question in here. Broke Boy Industries side taking us off topic a little bit asked Peter, with what camera do you record the construction videos? Well, Broke Boy, I think the camera I use fits perfectly in your handle, Broke Boy Industries, because I use the cheapest thing I have, which is my phone. So
Hmm.
actually, it's not a cheap phone, but it's still it's a phone. It's something we all have in our pocket, right? So yeah, it's one of those things where we've got a decent thing going here, right, Ed? But we're still in our
Right.
infancy, just like the team. We're still in our infancy, and as we
Well, that's also, we got Rica Ricardo, who's one of the
yeah
guys that's in the chat room right now, and one of our partners. He's the guy with the
yeah
cameras. So if you guys want to send him a couple messages, he'll probably answer you in the chat room. But yeah, I mean, we've been using our high speed
yeah
iPhones.
yeah well, it's one of those things where when you start a YouTube channel, it's like I did a lot of research, and it's like, what kind of cameras do you need? And most people say when you're first starting off, the best camera is the one that's in your pocket because it's just easy available, and the cameras on phones nowadays are so good that you almost don't need anything better, especially for something that's kind of vlogging. Now if we're filming games and stuff like that, like I've tried to do a little bit of that with my phone, it doesn't come out that great. But you need a better
Right.
camera like Ricky Ricardo's cameras. But as we grow this channel, we'll increase the quality of our cameras as well. But yeah, we're low budget. We are Broke Boy Industries right here on FMTV.
We sure are, but we're managing. I think we're doing a somewhat decent job, for what we've got, and more than anything, we're passionate about the sport and our Inter Miami team.
Yeah.
So
Uh, I just
what
I
happened, Peter?
just saw a comment that I thought was surprising. Mike Blitz is in here and he says, "What do I do for season tickets? I haven't been contacted by the team." Uh, Question for you, Mike Blitz. Have you put in your deposit? If you have and you're waiting for them to respond to you, don't. Call your ticket rep. And my ticket rep is Michelle Rodriguez. If you need her information, I could probably find it during the show. But find your ticket rep and you contact them. This is one of my pet peeves with this organization. And Ed and I had this conversation on and off for the entire probably 8-hour drive. Is some of the pet peeves that we have with the team right now are not so much the quality of what's on the pitch. We saw that, and we saw the reserve team do really, really well against Tampa Bay this weekend. But what my main concerns right now at this time are the front office. Feels like they were working on a shoestring. Not necessarily budget maybe, but not enough people. And there's been a lot of issues with people getting their season tickets, not getting contacted, things like that. I don't know why, but they dropped the ball. So what happened to me is I put in my deposit like the day we were allowed to do it, right, Ed? They sent us out as supporters, as part of the supporters clubs. We got like the ability to put in the deposit, I think, a little bit sooner. I put them in right away. And they said there was a date that someone was going to contact me. Nobody did. Then eventually it got pushed back. I was emailing them. Then it got pushed back and it pushed back. Eventually, I sent them a fairly nasty email, just saying I was frustrated. And they told me to call them right away. I did. They took care of it. So I had to hound them. And that's a problem.
Yeah. And there's a couple of people that approached me yesterday asking me about, about getting tickets, and that they've been calling in and nobody's calling them back. I guess they leave messages or something. So that's a concern that some people are having. I know one particular person was telling me he's got a VIP, I don't know, suite or box, whatever they're called, and he wanted to go to LA, so he was trying to see if the team could help him get it, but nobody's called them back. So I was like, oh man, hopefully he'll start calling again on tomorrow, Monday, and somebody will.
Yeah. So Mike replied as I was rambling on. He says, no, it was a week and a half ago. Haven't put a deposit. So contact, Michelle Rodriguez. Let me see if I could find her information.
You could always go online, go to Inter Miami's website, and they've got phone numbers and stuff right there where you can call everybody and their mama is what I'd say, and try to get through because I think the single tickets are gone. But if you want to get...
He was asking about season tickets.
The season tickets, I think there's still some available. You have to call for that. And I think there's some partials still available as well. So that's the only way you guys are going to get tickets now, because all the single tickets are gone, at least for the first 3 games.
Yeah.
So
I just chatted in there my ticket rep for you guys. So anybody that has any questions about your tickets, just go ahead and contact Michelle Rodriguez. I remember, Ed, when we were... back in July, we went to the front office. I met Michelle in person, and just coincidence, she was my ticket rep. And they have a whiteboard, which is kind of like a leaderboard, a competition, if you will, for the sales team. She was first place. She was killing it on the tickets sales. So contact her; she'll help you. And
I'm sure she wants to win that competition. I wonder what they get. Do they get like a jersey or something?
I don't know. But when we talked to the guy that was in charge of the tickets, and I don't remember his name, I asked him if this was kind of like a competition board, and he said, yeah. Now, I don't know if they win anything, but her name was at the top as selling more tickets, so she's a good rep. So definitely reach out to her. I know that you're supposed to put in a deposit and all that, but call her. Just call her. Get your tickets while they still have them, because I think that the last report, and now this is already a week old, was that there was less than 1,000 tickets available still of season tickets. So There may be only 700 now, or less. Who knows? Call
Right. So make it snappy, guys. But let's
them. Yeah.
start talking, Peter, about the about our
Okay.
trip. I
Yeah.
drove. So it was fun because Peter drove last week, so he was kind of tired and stuff. And so I thought, I'd educate Peter as far as music goes. Last week we were kind of talking a little bit about our musical
Yeah.
inclinations, and the grand majority of you guys agree that my music is better than Peter's.
Wow.
Now I listen to new wave type of stuff, The Cure, Depeche Mode, and Peter listens to crappy stuff like the T-shirt he's wearing. What
Def
T-shirt you
Leppard,
got?
man. Def Leppard. Look, Def Leppard is I gotta say is not my favorite band, but if you know anything about rock, which I know you don't because you're wimpy like that. But
Well, we'll get to women in a little
but
bit.
Def
Go
Leppard's
ahead.
first couple of albums are solid rock albums. High and Dry, or on through the night, High and Dry, and Pyromania. After that, they after the drummer lost his arm, they it took some time off. They definitely popped it up more, and I'm not as much of a fan. But the Pyromania tour, that was my first concert ever that I went to. I was like 15 years old for Pyromania. It had to be what, like 84 or 85.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's
Wow, 84, 85. Mine, I think, was in 88. I think it was Depeche Mode 101 in the Rose Bowl in L.A., man. So that tells you guys how old we kind of are and how much older Peter is.
yeah.
I might have the grays, but he shaves his off. That's why you can't see it that much. But he's older than I
I
am.
mean, yeah, yes, I am. But but I don't look it. But
Yeah,
here
that's
was
true.
my thing, Ed. I clearly have the better taste in music, but some of our viewers on the discussions and the chats and the comments, they had your back. They agreed with you. But a couple,
Of
I
course.
know at least one of the guys. He's a British dude. He's a friend of ours. He's an Englishman. And of course he's gonna
Yeah.
like stuff like the Smiths. I mean, it's an English band. Of course he's gonna like that garbage. But
But it's cool stuff. But come on, Peter. Even you were talking about some of the titles of the
they're
songs.
depressing.
I don't know if you could you remember one of them? I know one in particular. You were like, man, that thing makes me want to
I
kill
don't know. It was
myself.
something like please.
Heaven knows I'm miserable
That's
now.
it. Just the title alone,
So,
man. Just
dude,
so that was like
it's
8 hours of that stuff, basically. But luckily, I got him onto some good talk radio stuff that's somewhat entertaining. But it was definitely a fun musical adventure, and that's going to be part of our video. It's kind of a musical adventure, if you will, for the trip. And talking about musical adventure, Ed. Let me see if I could pull up this image for the group that's watching this, and they can see some of what. And they're not going to hear it, but they could see some of the musical stylings of the fans. The group that went up to, or I almost said Orlando, went up to Tampa. All three supporters groups. You had the Siege, Southern Legion, and Vice City. And in this video, it's all of them commingled, singing together in a unified manner. And all three groups, they have their own, different stylings, and there's differences between them. But what's great to see is everybody came together and just to support Inter Miami, and it was glorious. It was one of those things that the players they noticed. I saw I think it was in the Herald with Michelle Kaufman's article where Robbie Robinson, the forward, was commenting how the fans, especially in the second half, they could hear it a lot and really pushed them forward. The coach, Diego Alonso, had mentioned that we were the away team, but it sounded like we were the home team. That's the kind
Right.
of thing, as sports fans in South Florida, we're not used to, right? You go to sporting events in South Florida, quite often you go to a Dolphins game, and it's all Jets fans, right? Here
Right.
we had the total opposite happening, and it was pretty amazing.
Hey, it looked like, well, I was in the stands, but you got to go down on the
I
grass,
did.
Peter. How did it look? My impression was that there were more Miami fans than Tampa fans, at least in the supporters group.
There was, but I will hand it to the Rouse Mob, and I think there was another one called, what was the name of it? It was the Skyway Casuals.
So, something
That
like
was
that. Yeah,
Skyway
yeah.
Casuals. I just know Rouse Mob because that's a classic supporters group from Tampa that's been around for a very, very long time. They at one point were kind of aggressive and had some. It was a little uncomfortable when we were Strikers fans back in the day. But those people I think are gone. They've chilled out a lot, and their group, I won't say it was small. It was smaller than ours, but it was still fairly
Right.
decent. And they were unified. Their song sounded great. You just from the Inter Miami supporters section, you couldn't hear them because our drums are so loud. But when you stood in between, like I did, I kind of stood in the middle of both groups for a period of time. You could
Yeah.
definitely hear them. They sounded great. And I'll tell you, they had a few songs there that were just making fun of Miami. Just making fun of the fact that we're a Miami team playing in Fort Lauderdale. All good fun. I mean, that's the kind of, you expect them, you actually want them to poke fun out of us in that manner. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. That was kind of funny, man. I didn't get to hear it, but you told me after about that, and I think it's pretty cool. And what was really awesome, I think, is that a lot of people recognize us, man. They were like, I was waiting for you, and one of the Tampa fans came up to me and said, "Hey, you're Uncle Ed." I was like, "Oh, sure." Yeah, and we started talking a little bit. Said he watches Football Miami TV, and he said that he liked what we're doing over
Yeah.
here. And then he asked me, too bad Peter's not here." I'm like, "Oh no, he's coming right now." And
Taking
sure
a
enough,
leak.
he started walking. Yeah, and he was like, we took a picture with him and everything. He even asked about Ricky Ricardo. So he's been checking us out. And earlier today, or earlier that day, also there was another person that came up to me
Yeah.
that recognized us. So that was kind of cool. And they're Tampa fans. You wouldn't
Yeah.
figure Tampa fans would watch a Miami-based video podcast.
Well, we got a guy from Atlanta in here, so we're.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So-
yeah, no, it was fun. It's great meeting you guys. Anytime you guys see us out, come by and say hi because we want to get to know you. So we want to thank you for watching what we do. So it's
and just if you do take a picture with us, put it on our social media as well, Football Miami TV, so we know. And because sometimes they'll tell us their names, but like for that one of the guys, it was so loud I could barely remember his name.
He wanted
so.
to have a conversation, but the supporters groups came out into the walkway, and so it's in a covered area. You couldn't hear a thing.
Yeah.
They were banging the drums so loud. It's like he wanted to have a conversation with us, but we couldn't. I couldn't hear him.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's like.
So
But yeah, good times there. And yeah, if you get a chance, yeah, be sure to let us know that you guys are listening, because that's cool. Next time we should have like giveaways or something, Peter.
okay, I'm doing
Like those Inter Miami underwear that you like to wear. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Peter was telling me there's people that wear boxers and some wear briefs. Well, Peter likes those butt huggers. So
Butt
he
huggers.
was talking about butt huggers, and hopefully Peter could put up that picture. I don't know if you get a chance of putting that picture up, Peter, but I'm sure he was thinking, I'm gonna surprise the wife and I'm gonna wear these one night. And I just thought, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but
it's up right now. I had to move. Your image was a little bit kind of blocking it a little bit, but I had these are underwear that I saw on the on MLSsoccer.com on the Inter Miami section. So if you feel like showing your lady that you support Inter Miami, these are for you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, do it. I mean, Peter's gonna do it.
Well-
So everybody should. If you're a real fan, buy your briefs,
So-
man. Buy your butt huggers.
So I never heard of them called butt huggers. I think the real term is micro mesh boxer briefs. Ed.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So these are for. Let me just tell you who these amazing looking briefs are. They are they are for those that are devoted to Inter Miami, but are searching for a piece of gear to complete their head from head to toe style. So that's what these are all about. And even it says here, Ed, even if they go unseen, you'll know you're a fiercely loyal fan.
Yes, you will,
thanks
Peter.
to the crisp Inter Miami CF graphics. The elastic
Nice.
waistband will keep you comfortable even if you go out and about or just relax at home.
Well, look at that. And Peter's going to definitely relax at home and, surprise the wife.
So-
unfortunately, I'm probably ruined it for you, Peter,
Well-
because, now she's going to watch the video and, sorry, man.
Well, no,
My bad.
I already told her. I already told her about them. I told her. I said, hey, guess what? There's Inter Miami underwear. She's like, you don't need those. And I said, here's the only problem is they're $31.99 for one pair. Who buys a pair of underwear for $32? I want to get a pack at least for that. But
at least a 3-pack.
give me a 3-pack.
Come on, Inter
I
Miami.
think this is one. But
For one?
I think
Come
so.
on,
It doesn't
man.
say anywhere in here about how many you get. Like if there's any kind of pack. I think it's just a single item. So
I think those are pretty cool. I might even buy some, man. I mean, because it looks like they could really hug your tush.
it's more. Forget that. I was gonna say it's more important to support something else, but whatever.
Gotcha. But it's funny because we were talking about that. We were talking about all these things because it was it was a long drive.
Yeah.
So I was asking Peter about all they need to do is have underwear, and Peter's like, they do have underwear. I
Right
was
here.
Like, really? So yeah, and I was like, so we're like, oh, that's a good topic to talk about. So
Yeah, I mean,
we
well, my wife was like, "Why would you buy Inter Miami underwear?" I was like, "She's like, you're not like one of those guys that's wearing your pants hanging low and your butt hanging out, are you? Because I'm too old for that.
Right.
So I'm not doing that." And I told her, it's so that I'm supporting the team from the inside and the outside, head to toe, like it said there.
Yeah, and like the description said, I mean, nobody may see it on the outside, but inside, you're wearing.
Yeah.
All about the team. That's how close you are with the team.
Yeah. But for 32, like Broke Boy Industry says, 32 WTF. Yeah, I don't think I'm buying them for $32, but I thought they were fun. I thought they were funny. I wouldn't mind getting them as a gift. You know how sometimes at like Christmas time, your loved one will give you like a goofy gift that they'll put in the stocking or something like that.
Like that.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, and you know what? The sales are probably going to go up because we started talking about it. So
Well, here's the thing.
Inter Miami.
Here's the thing. I don't think anybody knows that there's underwear on that site. You got to be like an idiot like me that's just perusing the site, just looking to see what's new. Is there anything new I could buy? And so I'm on their site. I'm on that site like almost every day, just seeing if there's anything new. Now I haven't bought any of it because other than a couple hats, but
Right.
I'm still waiting to buy some of this stuff. But I'm on there all the time, and so I just got a feeling that your average fan is not sitting there going on that site every day. They're not going to know that they have an opportunity to get some what'd you call them, butt huggers, and that support your team from the inside and the outside. And look, if you're one of those younger guys that's cool, that likes to have their pants hanging down low, if you're into rap or whatever that look is. I know I'm going to sound very old and white here, but
Yeah, you sound.
but
like
I
it.
am what I am, but if you're one of those dudes that walks around like with your pants hanging down, perfect for you because you can advertise at the same time.
Yeah. Peter.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on from the underwear. I know you're fixated on that, but one of the guys in the chat room has been, sending me messages right here, and he's saying, Pete and Ed, did you guys see the rumors about the possibility of Lionel Messi, possibly leaving Barcelona because he's having issues with the president of Barcelona?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
what do you think?
Oh, I mean, there's always a possibility that he could leave. I mean, anything's possible. I've always felt that he's going to be a lifelong, Barcelona player. I know we talk about him coming here. That's a dream. In a lot of our videos, I've used his image when we talk about the big name signing. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I've always felt that whatever issues he has, he'll probably work out at Barcelona and figure it all out. But you never know. Anything's possible. The question is, if he does become available, Ed, do you think we could lure him here? Now, we haven't had any success bringing in a big name player. Pizarro is our biggest name player, and while he may be a good player, he may be the player we need. He is not that big name marketable player that we thought we were going to get. Do you think, especially with their failed attempts recently, that they could lure him over here if he decides to leave Barcelona?
I think there's more of a possibility of Cristiano Ronaldo because he's older. He's a couple years older, but at the same time, Cristiano Ronaldo's still at the top of his game. So I think that guy could probably play till he's 40 because he's just so in such a great condition that I think he's going to go for the. Well, we won't see him till he's 40. And Lionel Messi, he's a couple years younger. So if he goes anywhere, it'll probably be to another European team.
Right.
He's just still they're still too good, man. They're not. It doesn't look like they're going downhill anytime soon, and they're gonna prefer playing in the Champions League than in the CONCACAF Champions League. So
yeah, and it stinks that you have.
I don't see it
stinks that you have to say that he's not downhill enough to come to MLS. That we're still at that point. We're coming out. One thing that's great about MLS right now is they're coming out of that retirement league, kind of reputation a little bit because they have gone younger, and that TAM, targeted allocated money that was put into some years back, and now is kind of, it's not going away, but it's being reduced greatly. That movement was all about bringing in younger, high talent, high paid young players, and they've done that. Inter Miami being a great example of so many 19, 20, 21-year-old kids coming in. And so they're definitely kind of losing a little bit of that retirement league thing. But yet, no matter what, it's still there a little bit.
Well, those two players, I think, are like the exception.
Yeah.
I think they could bring a big name player, but not those two. I think those two are just, way above our expectations at this point. They could bring in a Cavani, Luis Suarez. Those type of players, I think, could come in. I mean, they're just, I would say, a tier under that. Maybe even Neymar, because I don't think he's gotten to the level of Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But I think if I hope that Lionel Messi goes to like the English league or something, just because I think he's still got something to prove, because he's good with Barcelona, and that team's, a lot of people are going to criticize me, but that team was made for him.
Yeah.
But while Ronaldo can play in any team and he still plays good, so I think he's got something to prove, Lionel Messi, by going to another team and making an impact. He's not going to go to Manchester City because
people are going to be leaving Manchester City.
Yeah, nobody's going to want to go there because that's 2 years, man. Imagine 2 years. They could be champions and they're never going to play in the Champions League. So that hurts.
Yeah, so some of those players are probably going to exit. I have a couple of friends that are big Man City fans, and one of them I work with, and so I went over to his desk the other day and I said, "What's going on with Man City?" He's like, "Don't even talk about it. Just go."
They don't want to talk.
They didn't want to even talk about it. Of course, I made him talk about it. I was like, I kept pushing. We didn't want to talk about it. He's like, "I don't even want to go there. I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about Inter Miami instead." But yeah, but there was a question in here. Again, off topic. I think it was from our Atlanta listener here, asking if King West. I was asking if we would collaborate with Atlanta United Fan TV or any other MLS Club Fan TV channels. Yeah, absolutely. We haven't reached out to anybody yet, but for sure, we're if anybody ever listened to our old podcast that we used to do, and back then we didn't call it a podcast because it was before the podcasts were really cool. Now they're everywhere, and it was more like a live radio show because it had a chat room. We were able to take calls. It was pretty cool, but we did that for 6 years, and in that time, that was kind of our model, if you will, is that we would, and at the time we were really focusing on the Fort Lauderdale Strikers because we didn't have an MLS team. And so what Ed would do is Ed was really in charge of getting our guests. And so if the Strikers were playing the team in North Carolina, we'd go and get some fans or reporters from North Carolina to come on our show so that we could talk some smack or just, talk up the game a little bit. And so we did that across the league. We had some contacts up in Minnesota when Minnesota United were in NASL or USL. And so, we'll definitely try to do that in the future through this. Of course, it gets a little more complicated when it's video and stuff like that. But, we could Skype them in and things like that. So, yeah, we'll definitely look into in the future reaching out to others and doing some collabs. Man, that's one of the cool things about YouTube. It seems to be less competitive and more just kind of that family. We're all in this together just to try to help support our team or support soccer or support whatever your interest is.
Yeah, and we do that with all the other guys that have different platforms here in Miami, in South Florida, because I think this community is growing. There's somebody actually from the front office had told me, man, there's like so many podcasts now, I can't keep up with them.
Yeah,
it's cool, and I kind of feel kind of proud that we're like the pioneers, Peter, of all this. Podcasts or whatever.
Yeah, we were in South Florida. We were doing the podcast thing about soccer way before anybody else was, and we kind of stopped right when it was getting popular, didn't we, Ed? I mean, it was like we were kind of burned out of it. We needed a break. We needed a break. We took like a year off, year and a half, and then we decided to do the YouTube thing.
And I was trying to convince Peter, let's go video, man. Let's go video. And then
I was like,
it worked.
Nobody wanted to see my ugly mug.
It works. It's been working, Peter. I guess they do want to see your ugly mug.
Yeah, I guess so. There was a. So let's, go ahead. You go.
I was gonna say, let's get back on track about the game.
Okay.
We followed one of the supporters group, the Southern Legion. They had like 3 vans full of people and a myriad of cars also following them. And when we got to people say Tampa, but it's St. Pete. It was a lot of fun because everybody started chanting and all that, and then the Siege showed up, so they came together with the Legion and they started singing, and then we went to the hotel for a little bit because to meet the players, and I got to take pictures. Peter was filming. You guys are going to get to see that in the video. That was fun. We got to talk to the players, and that's when I realized, oh man, the game, it's not going to have the starting lineup because most of the higher paid players were at the hotel when we got there, and the players were already the players that were going to play the game were already in the stadium warming up. So
look, we got a visitor.
Wow,
he came up to say hi.
Oh, well, it was people I guess didn't get to see that, or did you change the camera?
Oh, no, they saw it.
Oh, okay, cool. So you made me lose track, man. I got to see Sparky there, and you threw me off track.
It's Chewie, as in Chewbacca.
Oh, Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewie.
Chewbacca,
Yeah.
Of course. Star Wars over here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then I realized, oh man, that we're not going to watch the first team. We're going to watch
which is what we expected, really. I mean, what we had heard from a source, or we heard this a few weeks ago that was likely to happen, that the first team, or for the most part, the first team would play the early game against FC Dallas, and the second team would play against Tampa. Now, of course, it's not completely that way, because I think Lewis Morgan is probably going to be a first-team player, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
But he played with the reserves, and that may be just because he's new with the team. And so it wasn't totally A team, B team, I don't think. I think it's mostly the first team that played the early game, but he's gonna move some pieces around, and you never know.
Yeah, I saw AJ De La Garza.
Right. He could end up in the first team.
The defensive midfielder. Right. They also had, I believe it was Torres that was in there also as well. I couldn't tell too well because also they didn't have the names in the back, so I'm like, and we were kind of far because that's it's a baseball field converted into a soccer field. So we were kind of a little farther than we're going to be at Lockhart, and so it was kind of hard to tell who is who. I did see Robbie Robinson that was up front. I could tell him because he was tall. You told me he was tall, and then I kind of recognized him from pictures and stuff. And he actually had a couple of chances. I thought he was rather good up there.
Yeah, I thought he looked good as well. From our view from between the flags that were waving in our faces, but yeah,
Yeah, we were like trying to look
yeah.
underneath them at times, but that's what you get for
When
sitting with the
That's what
supporters.
happens. I figured the week before when I went by myself, I sat and had a great view. This time I'll sit with the fans and just be in the party of it all. And so, but what that means is you do sometimes lose a little bit of the game. But yeah, Robbie Robinson, he's fast. He's very active. I think he's got some promise. Yeah, even Diego Alonso had mentioned that he's come a long way. And what I was hoping to see, because the name, Kiesewetter, everybody keeps talking about Kiesewetter. They want to see Kiesewetter, and we haven't seen him. I had hoped, since he didn't play last week, that he would play in this game, because I had already seen Robbie Robinson, who played in last week, and so
Right.
But I'm assuming Kiesewetter played in the Dallas game, and
Yeah, he was in a hotel as well, so we didn't get to see. A lot of people were very, um, they got kind of concerned because they realized, oh, we're not going to watch the first team, and then they were like, oh man, and we didn't know what Tampa's lineup was if they were playing their first team. So we're like, okay, that could be a bad thing for
yeah.
us. You know.
Hey, want to
So,
thank Tony for his $1.99 super chat, saying "Hey you," and so Eric,
thanks, Tony. You're the
you're the
best.
best, Tony. Appreciate it. Every dollar helps buy a new camera.
Yeah, and that's gonna help Peter get those underwear, those butt
No, no, no,
huggers that
no,
he
no,
likes
no.
so much.
That's between me and my
Yeah.
wife. This is any super chats anybody gives to us. It goes to a better camera, to lighting, to whatever we need. Okay, I won't make you pay for my underwear, guys.
All right,
But
Peter. I'm just trying to
Eric,
help you. I was okay with you taking that so you can get your underwear.
Eric Thomas is saying, how many Def Leppard shirts do I have? I have one. And I don't have that many rock T-shirts. I just
Yeah, yeah. That's something I was gonna ask you. How many concert T-shirts? When I called up Peter right now, I realized he was wearing a
yeah
concert T-shirt, and I was like, oh man, I would have worn one too.
yeah.
One of my new wave bands or something, because I got a few in there around there. I even have the Ramones. I think you like the
I
Ramones.
do. I saw the Ramones. All right. Do you remember and anybody in here that's a little bit older, that's from Miami, do you guys remember the Cameo Theater?
I do. I went a few times
I used
myself.
to go
Yeah.
to the Cameo Theater a lot. Cameo Theater was in South Beach, and it was an old movie theater converted into a concert hall, beat up looking place, terrible. It was a home of like punk bands. Like I saw so many punk bands that play there. I'm not even a punk fan, but I saw so many punk bands play there. And I saw the Ramones play there. I saw the Ramones play at the
Wow,
Cameo Theater years and years ago. It was pretty amazing.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Saw the
Wow.
Cramps play there. I don't know if you're familiar with the Cramps, but they're kind of
Yeah, yeah.
a female punk band with a female and male punk band. But yeah, saw the Ramones. But no, I don't have that many rock T-shirts because I just started buying a couple.
I'm
I have like
surprised.
two Kiss shirts. One is like a Mickey Mouse Kiss shirt, like the Disney characters with Kiss makeup, because that two of
Yeah.
my favorite things, right? But no, I don't. I don't have that many rock shirts.
Yeah, that's what we messed up. We were talking on the way to the game that we need to put up our pictures because this
Yeah.
one with Peter's got his long wavy, looks like a lion type of hair. I don't know if it was it permed.
No, it was not.
I think he had some curls
No.
there.
Yeah, I did have some curls, but it was not permed, Ed.
Yeah. Well, I just thought maybe it was permed.
Well, look,
And I
look,
had
hey, you just because you're jealous that you don't have those gorgeous locks. I mean, you
Well, I used to have
yeah,
hair,
but at what
Peter,
age? You shaved your head or young?
No, I did.
Well,
I did.
so
But before that, when I was growing up, I had a big old pompadour
Pompadour.
looking thing right here that was just sticking out, and we gotta bring out those pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna look for it so you can see.
But
Kind of had that Morrissey, hair pumped up type of thing going for me, while you look like Rat or one of those glitzy heavy metal bands from back in the day. Did you wear makeup,
No, I
Peter?
didn't wear makeup, Ed. I didn't.
Dude,
I didn't need
just
to
throwing
wear.
it
I
out
didn't
there.
need to wear makeup. That's so. And so Mike Blitz with $1.99 super chat. Thanks so much, Mike. And he has a question. How was the offense in your guys' opinion? So I'll answer first, just because I think I saw more of the game than Ed.
Yeah, I was looking through trying to look through the singing and the flag. So you had a much better view.
Yeah,
Peter.
no, I mean, I also was watching through the flags. Eventually, I did get to move downstairs, but get on his bald headed. Some of the chats are making me laugh inside and getting me.
Thanks, Eric.
Getting me
Thomas,
sidetracked.
Instigating violence over here.
So, it's like in the Up movie. I don't know. I'm also a big Disney fan. So Up movie. You've got Doug the dog, and he's like squirrel. That's me with these chats. So back to Mike Blitz's comment or question. I thought in the first half it was all Miami. It was all in the Tampa half of the field. Our offense looked pretty good. More than the offense, I was really impressed with Christian McCoon. Christian McCoon was really organizing the defense. Great. He's playing center defense, really in the right position. I think we have two really good, solid center defenders. Because Figal, the week before, looked awesome as that center back, winning every header, all that kind of stuff. And then McCoon, it was his chance this weekend. He looked equally as good. So I would imagine Figal starts over McCoon, but McCoon is young. There's definitely a lot of potential there. He looked great.
He's big.
And he is tall. He is big. But our attack, I thought, looked really pretty good. In the second half, it was a little bit more with Tampa. So I was standing at that point down on the field, and I was, standing close to or at times behind the goal that Miami was attacking, right behind Tampa's goal net, hoping to get maybe a shot of a goal or something like that. And the ball wasn't coming over there as much. So the Tampa figured it out a little bit. Miami clearly was a better team, but I think the attack looked decent. Now, it's against a USL team. I still think as a club, we have a lot of questions that need to be answered about the attack. That is our thinnest position is forward. We've got two forwards down, and they have yet to bring in that big name DP, or hell, I don't even care if it's a big name at this part. Another level of maybe another Pizarro type of a level of DP that is a forward. We're in desperate need. We need that, right? So, that's my thoughts. What would you think, Ed?
I did see McCoon. I got to agree. He looked solid in the back. He would turn around and change position, movements a lot. You'd think he'd be going one way, then he'd turn around and pass the ball to the other side. So he looked very comfortable. I like that because he looked comfortable playing. He didn't look hurried at all. And actually, none of the players looked like they were hurried. They all looked pretty confident. Even the goalkeeper looked pretty confident. There was a moment when Tampa, it was all Tampa for a while, and in that space of time, they actually scored a goal, which apparently there was a handball or something, and they
it's something that at the game you don't know what's going on, right? So I was far away from that, because I was completely standing behind the other net, so I didn't exactly see what was happening. I didn't see the flag go up, but what I read in the match review is that it got overturned with VAR.
Wow.
I'm surprised that VAR was being used in a USL Championship home game, because it's the home of the USL team, not the MLS team. I was really surprised that was being used. But according to the article,
where was it?
I don't know.
They didn't even announce it or anything. They did take a little while, so I was like, did somebody get hurt? I mean, what's the deal?
It got overturned. There was something they saw, like you said, maybe a handball. They saw something on the field. I had no clue what was going on, other than the goal got called back. So I'm not still 100% sure exactly what happened, other than I read that they used VAR, and I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, what really made me realize that they scored was, listening to the Tampa fans going crazy, and we kept on singing.
Yeah.
But then they overturned it, and we heard that, and it was, of course, we started making fun of them. And I thought that was kind of cool. VAR works sometimes, especially when it's for us.
Yeah, exactly. Both supporters clubs were really loud at that point. The Rowdies fans were pretty loud as well. It was really good. Question in here, Anthony Manzano is asking you, Ed, any chance, do we have an update on the lawsuit again with Inter Miami and Inter Milan?
I think that's going to take a little while because it's kind of complicated. It's the word Inter that they're worried about. There are just two. I think there's just too many teams in the world that are called Inter, and if I were Inter Miami, and if it looks like it's going to get to the point where they're going to take that name away, they should reach out to the other teams that are called Inter, because I'm sure in their countries they're called Inter, and it identifies not just one team; it identifies a whole bunch. You had mentioned before, Peter, that when you think of Inter, you thought of the Italian team.
Yeah, I think definitely they have a point. But let's just be clear, as far as everything I've read, and I did a decent amount of research because I did a news episode on it, that there is no lawsuit yet. This is just being discussed in the U.S. Patent Office type of setup, So what they're trying to do is actually Inter Milan filed a trademark. And that's it. They did it in 2014. It's there. Then it's just sitting there. There was no activity by Inter Milan. It's just sitting there. And then Inter Miami creates their name, and they were the ones that approached the patent office to kind of battle this, right? So they were trying to stop that trademark from happening, because so they filed like a I don't know, I forget the exact word, but an opposition to it, an injunction of some sort. And that's what they're arguing about now. And so far, there was two arguments that they had. One of them has been thrown out, and now they still have a next argument to be made. And if Inter Miami, for example, lost both, it doesn't mean anything until Inter Milan decides to then maybe sue them, right?
Or enforce it in some way.
But if they don't, then nothing happens. So what is most likely going to happen, in my opinion, is a deal will be worked out, right? And this is not a deal between Inter Miami and Inter Milan. This is a deal between MLS and Inter Milan, because single entity structure, all teams are actually owned by the one corporation. So anyways, it's a long story, but the second portion that needs to be argued will be later in the year. So we still may have 4 or 5 months before there's any kind of further discussion. So really, for a while, it's going to be no news. All right. So we're getting close to the end here, but I see there's some comments or questions about Almendra, and I think we're all pretty excited to get another young attacking player on the team. Everything we've heard is that the deal is done, and that an announcement should be coming soon. But
he's coming in as a loan,
right?
So he doesn't. He's not a DP of any sort. I think you said they were going to use. What was your theory? They're going to use some of the allocation money.
Yeah, they'll use some GAM to buy down his salary to bring him in as under the DP. I think. I don't think he's young, and I mean I don't think. They spend that kind of money on him yet. I know some people are thinking he's like a young Riquelme, which, if that's true, if he's that good, that's an amazing get. So it's a loan with an option to buy. I know that there was, and I mentioned this in one of my news reports, about a $10 million purchase of him. So I did read that they were thinking about doing that as well as just buying him outright. But apparently it's going to be a loan. And so we hear it's done, but like all these rumors, nothing's done until nothing's done until we see the player in the airport, like we did with Pizarro, and see him play, and then a week later they announce him. But We
Well, and then one of the people that they're mentioning, Roger Martinez, they think, yeah, if that's a possibility, when they're going to do it, if the agent's going to stop, with his chicanery and whatnots, because he wants more money. Do you think that's a closed topic there with Roger Martinez, or that it's still a possibility?
Well, it's it's all about his agent, right? His agent wants to get a bigger chunk of change.
Money.
Like I mentioned in a previous last week's news, I think he's doing a disservice to the player at that point. The player's going to sit on the bench. They have no intention of playing him. They've even said, take the deal to Miami.
Right.
They told him, and so I at this point I don't want him. I think he's
Right.
just going to be a cancer. It feels like he just is, maybe, I don't know if he's just kind of like a big baby, type of situation. And maybe more so, it's not. Maybe it's less of I don't want him. I don't want his agent necessarily, right?
Yeah, because it sounds like a problem, and they've mentioned, he's already had. I guess he's got a little attitude going for him. That's concerning because, like you said, we don't want a cancer in the team. The team looks right now like they're in cohesion.
Right.
They all get along. If we get somebody in there that's, that has a conflict, that thinks he's a diva, that's just going to hurt the team. And there's already been too much drama with this guy, so I'm like, I kind of don't want him to show up. But if he does, we got to support, whatever the team wants to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So Eric was asking before we sign off. Yeah, we do need to talk about this. If we're gonna do a post-game show next week with you and me, people want to know. So, unfortunately, yeah, let's talk about that. There will not be a Sunday show next week. I will be up in Orlando. Unfortunately, my daughter is dancing. She's a ballet dancer, and she is dancing in Disney. So, as a good father, I am going to go watch and cheer on my daughter, and hopefully, I will catch the game at some point later in the day. But I will not be able to, to do a show like this because it's family time next week. As exciting, it's just the wrong day, right? It's the wrong day. It always seems to happen, right? But again, it's my daughter and it's family, and I will do that every time over soccer.
But and this is a very big but.
But
I'm gonna do my, hopefully the connection in
Right.
LA is good. I'm gonna try to do a live broadcast from there. So
yeah, it just with Ed doing it, he'll probably end up doing it off his phone, which you could do a live stream off his phone. It won't have all the cool graphics that we have here and stuff like that, but that's okay. The graphics are just icing on the cake. Ed, I think that's even the better show right there. Is that Ed coming at you live from maybe the parking lot or the stadium or the hotel or wherever the heck he is, giving you like, the feelings of being in that stadium. That I want to see, Ed.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely, I'm going to try to do at least, small segments, if anything, when we're, at the tailgate area. I'm not, I don't want to say exactly where we're going to be because I don't know yet.
Right.
But we're going to try to do that. I'm going to try to do it on, all day Sunday. At least, do at least a couple of live videos so you guys could check us out. I'm going to be, of course, with all the supporters, because we're all going in there as one big group. So as La Familia, as it's called. So I'll try to give you guys an inside look inside the stadium and right before we go in. So at least two good videos. And I'll be try to talk as much through it as I can. And hopefully I'll be able to get some live views of the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, and anything you do, anything you go live with, you guys will be able to comment. So that's something that we don't always talk about. But, on YouTube, they have the bell icon. Make sure you guys click that bell icon because you'll be notified whenever we do any kind of video. So if Ed decides to, without even promoting, if he just decides to go live, you'll get a notification that he's live, and you'll switch over. And it could, what if, this would be cool, Ed, but like during the game, if you went live for a little bit, so you're getting fan reaction. So you could watch the game on TV and watch Ed's view from your phone, for example.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So
I'm gonna try to do that, guys. Since Peter's gonna be off in Disney World, I'm sorry, watching his daughter. Dude, what are you gonna do, Peter? I mean, how? I mean, you got to do your family thing and everything, but is it the same time as the game?
No. So luckily she dances at 10:30 in the morning, and I don't know how long her show is that she's doing, and she's dancing in Disney Springs. There's a stage there, and so and after that, it's a school field trip thing. So she's going to be off and doing her own thing after the dance, and me and my wife will do our own thing. So we're talking about either finding a little a bar around there and going to watch it, or going back to the hotel room and watching it. And then we have plans with a friend that lives up in Orlando for that evening. So we'll have dinner with somebody on that evening. But no, I'm gonna watch the game.
Oh, you have to, Peter.
I'm good.
Got to force the wife.
Oh no, there's no forcing. My wife. Here's the thing: my wife is not the biggest soccer fan, but she's excited about this. She was excited when we first got married. This was crazy. We got married like 2 weeks after they announced the end of Miami Fusion, right? Because they announced the demise of the Fusion in December, maybe December 1st or something like that, right? It was December, and I got married on December 15th. So our entire dating time, which was a long distance relationship, I was telling her, yeah, once we get married, we're gonna go to these games. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's amazing. And then it didn't happen. And then instead, I took her to Miami FC at Tropical Park, which there's like 5 people in the stands. Not the same thing.
Yeah.
She's excited about this. She's excited about going to see this, and she's excited to watch the games and get behind it. So no convincing needs to happen. She's cool with. It was actually her idea that, hey, let's go find a bar and watch it.
Nice.
So that was her idea.
Well, I like that Kevin Gonzalez is saying that 18 seasons of waiting is over. Peter.
Yes. It is finally here.
Years.
It is finally here.
Wow.
And I wish I could be a part of the live show afterwards, because that's exactly the show I want to do. Is just talking about the emotions of the game, of watching it. But family first. So you're gonna have to wave that flag, Ed, next week.
If I get a good connection at the place that we're staying at, I might do a quick after game video. So hopefully everything works out, and I get some good Wi-Fi somewhere. But I'll definitely bring at least an after game
perspective.
A talk for at least a few minutes, and like I said, a pre-game, and hopefully during game at least a little video of that. Yeah. So I'll try to put it on social media as well, but just be ready, guys. It'll be cool. Yeah.
Last thing, I just didn't want to leave it hanging out there. Anthony Manzano was asking if they have to change their name, what would it be? Just, Anthony, go back and watch a couple of, go in our YouTube, go to like 2 weeks ago, I think, my news video where I went into detail about that. So we'll just go back and watch that video, and you can get exactly what will have to happen or not have to happen. I think I had a good amount of good information in that. Yeah, I think I broke it down pretty well in there. So just go watch that video. It's there, and that should answer most of your questions. But hey, guys, it was an amazing show. These shows go so fast, Ed. Feels like sometimes we just start and boom, it's over. So that means we're having fun, and that's because of you guys. So thanks so much for having fun with us. Make sure to check out the construction video on Monday, and it's something I wanted to talk about, but we didn't have time. So I'm just gonna throw this out there, and you guys can answer in tomorrow's construction video. The construction videos are going to end in the next week or two because the stadium's going to be done. There will be no more construction videos, and people love the construction videos. They are some of our most viewed videos. So I'm asking you guys, what should we do? What weekly video or what kind of videos would you like to see replace the construction video? Because there won't be any new construction happening in Miami for a little while, so there's no other construction really to talk about. But what kind of video do you guys want to see from us? That and maybe it's a weekly series, or maybe it's just some random thoughts that we could just put some random videos out. But just in tomorrow's comments of the construction video, go in there and tell us what you want to see that would, replace the construction video. I'll be interested to see what your comments are, because we want to make the stuff that you want to see, and also that that entertains us as well. So
yeah,
that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check out the construction video on Monday, and then also the Wednesday Tampa game video that'll go up as well. Appreciate it, and we will see you. Ed will see you next week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Thanks so much. Oh, Ed, we're not done yet. Because thanks, Tony, for a $1.99 super chat. You pay us to stay on, and we will stay.
Yeah, wow.
So he says maybe a stadium tour. Yeah, we definitely want to do that. So Ed is trying to work on something where we can maybe have a stadium tour. So thanks so much for that $1.99 super chat. And now for real, we are done. Bye, guys.